AM and 93.1 FM. Fargo-Moorhead.
And welcome to Weather and Ag in Focus. Thanks for joining us on this Friday afternoon. 103 right now, 14 degrees outside Fargo with a south wind at 9 miles per hour, making it feel about 2 above, but hey, 2 above is better than 20 below. Thank goodness we're done with all that cold weather, and there aren't too bad of temperatures in the forecast. We'll break down what that forecast looks like for you coming up on the show. I'm meteorologist Justin Storm with Ag Director Bridgette Readel. And Bridgette, good afternoon. How is your day going? It's a Friday before New Year's. We're about to end the year. How are things going?
So hold on. You said, well, we're done with those terribly cold temperatures. Is that a promise? Because I bet we have several listeners wondering the same thing. You're telling me it's only going to be above zero from here on out till spring?
Let me just say that we're done with the cold for now. There will be more cold. And when I say more cold, I mean there will be more cold on the way. Just not this week, and it doesn't look like at least for the first half of next week. We'll get those extreme cold temperatures, but, not bad. Temperatures right where they should be for the next 7 days, upper teens to low 20s. I think we average about 20 today, 18 as we go into January, so that's not too bad in my opinion.
It's nice to have a little reprieve, because otherwise it would really be drudgery for all of us who live here and have to go through continual cold weather. So this is going to be all right. And the best news is you have the LRC, so you'll keep us up to date on what's going to be coming at us when we have colder temperatures on the way.
Yes, we definitely will. And in regards to the LRC, which we can take a little bit of a bigger look at in the show, we know that we have the cycle length set and whatnot, but you got to keep in mind that we're only through the first cycle. We're going through the second one right now. It's not a specific number. It's not every set number of days something repeats the exact same way it did back in cycle 1 or cycle 2. There's oscillations. There's things that go in and influence the different patterns that come back through every different cycle. And we're seeing one of those influences taken over right now. The blocking that set up last week, which gave us that 3-4 day storm where it just sat over Minnesota, spin and didn't move. Well, that's slowed down the LRC pattern. We're actually a little bit longer this second cycle than we were in the first cycle. And I can't give you out the amount of days, but we've just slowed things down a little bit. So at least for these next week or two, if you're paying attention to our LRC calendar outlook, which is on our website, things probably need to be shifted a couple days later into the future. Maybe shift those about 3 days forward. And then I think as we head through January, things will kind of level back out or average to what we thought they were going to be. So we'll take a look at the forecast. We'll talk about the LRC during the show today. Got a few ag topics we're going to touch on, including the North Dakota Farmers Union pork donations. North Dakota Farm Bureau had a meeting and Lake Region Roundup. I don't know if that's the same topic, Bridgette, or not, but we'll talk about those. And we have a very fun guest on today, and I think many people are probably familiar with his name, and I know you were when I first brought him up. You were like, oh, I know who that is. He's got a book out. Yeah, we have a influencer, educator, YouTuber, Facebooker. He's got millions of views on his videos. Derrick Josi, and the author of An Industry Worth Fighting For.
Because most importantly, dairy farmer, Derrick Josi. That's first and foremost what Derrick does. And he is out in the Pacific Northwest. His milk goes to Tillamook. So if you're familiar with Tillamook cheeses and ice cream, you'll be very happy to hear from him today. So great spot on a guest there, Justin. I'm looking forward to visiting with Derrick.
Yeah, it's going to be very fun, and I'm looking forward to it as well. He'll be joining us at 1:20 this afternoon, so about 13 minutes from now we'll get connected with him. But we'll get up to date with ABC News. We'll come back. We'll take a look at that forecast, touch on the LRC, and then we'll get Derrick on the line with us at 1:20. So stay tuned. Weather and Ag in Focus. We'll be right back.
From ABC News, I'm Derrick Dennis. This morning, the long-awaited release of former President Trump's tax returns posted online by the House Ways and Means Committee led by Democrats.
The release provides more insight into whether Trump may have profited from tax policies he signed into law as president. As ABC News previously reported, Trump paid no tax in 2020 and just $750 in federal taxes during his first year as president. Em Nguyen, ABC News, Washington.
In a statement, Trump calls the release weaponized and a dangerous two-way street. An apology and an explanation from the CEO of Southwest Airlines after more than 15,000 flight cancellations left holiday travelers stranded.
The big storm that disrupted most airlines last week exposed the antiquated computer and crew scheduling systems at Southwest. Going forward, says CEO Bob Jordan,
we're making investments in our operational areas like always. There'll be lessons learned from this, and we'll continue to make more investments.
In the short term, the company is trying to convince 2.3 million passengers whose flights were canceled to give Southwest another chance. Jim Ryan, ABC News, Dallas.
Just 41 flights canceled today, which is considered normal operations. New York Congressman-elect George Santos facing more questions about his background as the grade school he claimed to have attended shows no record of him, and it follows other fabrications about his personal life and job history while campaigning.
To tamp down the scandal, Santos has been telling local Republican leaders he plans to serve one term and not run for re-election. The GOP chairman in his district said he wouldn't support Santos anyway in 2024, without mentioning any objection to Santos taking office next week, despite a new report in the New York Times that questions how Santos spent campaign money on everything from rent to meals to airfare.
ABC's Aaron Katursky. Soccer fans mourning the loss of three-time World Cup champion Pele, who died from colon cancer at 82. He'll be laid to rest next week in his native Brazil. You're listening to ABC News.
Attention all business owners who rent or lease space, including storage space. Stop wasting your money paying someone else for your space. You can now save a ton of money and own your own building with the incredible end-of-the-year sale prices from General Steel. That's right, start saving money every month on renting space from others. Just call 888-74-STEEL to see how General Steel can help you save money. Our 50-year structural warranty buildings are custom designed for your needs and save you a ton of money. Call 888-74-STEEL.
Take it from a successful entrepreneur. If you need to expand or start a new business, you need General Steel.
Great team and the competitive pricing is the reason I went with General Steel.
Call 888-74-STEEL now, and you can get any of our popular quick construction structures, including a 40 by 60 foot building or a 50 by 100 clear span building at end of the year savings. Call 888-74-STEEL. That's 888-747-8335. 888-74-STEEL.
Do you love working on cars but don't love your current job? If so, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Matthew Carlson, owner of Fix It Forward Auto Care. We're a family-owned full-service auto repair shop looking to hire skilled automotive technicians. With our state-of-the-art shops, great work environment with competitive pay and benefits, you'll enjoy a great job with a bigger purpose and a lot of opportunity for advancement. Visit FixItForwardAutoCare.com to apply. Fix It Forward Auto Care, the name you trust for car repair.
Fix It Forward Auto Care.
Hello, this is Elise Pucklich, and as another year winds down, all of us at Pucklich and Valley City want to thank you for your business. It's true that this time of the year, giving really is better than receiving. And during Chevy's Red Tag event, we're giving you special event savings on our largest Chevy inventory in months. So from our family to yours, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from everyone at Pucklich Chevrolet Buick GMC in Valley City. Have a safe and joyous holiday season.
Welcome to WDAY Weather and Ag in Focus. I'm Bridgette, Readel, Ag Director, along with meteorologist Justin Storm. And we are going to have a fabulous afternoon for you today. Thanks for joining us. We're going to talk about the weather updates as well as what's happening in agriculture around the region. And then we'll be working with our guest here in the 120 hour of our segment, or 120 segment of our hour. Sorry about that. So looking forward to visiting with everyone today. And before we get too far along, Justin, any weather you want to make sure everybody's highlighted for as we go into this holiday weekend?
The forecast doesn't look too bad out there, Bridgette. We're going to be looking at temperatures right around where they should be. Today we should be right around 19, 20 degrees here in Fargo, and as we head into January, we'll drop things down to about 18, 19 degrees, and that's about where temperatures are going to remain over the next handful of days for about a week. There is a potential storm that we are tracking that will be rolling in off the west coast this weekend, making its way inland, affecting the central or northern portion of the United States Monday into Tuesday. The exact track of that storm still a little uncertain whether or not if we're going to get a good hit or if we're just going to get grazed or maybe we'll just get slightly missed. All three of those possibilities still possible here in Fargo, but if you do have traveling plans south Monday or Tuesday through South Dakota, Nebraska, southern Minnesota, Iowa, the central U.S., even down into Texas, where they might be dealing with some severe weather, there is going to be some impactful weather that will be occurring. So if you're traveling down to Frisco for the NDSU game at the end of the week, you're leaving a little early, maybe hold off until Wednesday because it will be a little dangerous with the heavy snow accumulations for some. I'll touch on that storm here in just a moment. Let's look across the area on what's going on right now. We're seeing a few isolated snow flurries around our area, but for the most part, it's not too bad out there. A little bit of patchy fog, wind is light under 10 miles an hour out of the southeast. We got temperatures in the teens. Right now we're at 14, and that's about where temperatures will stay. We'll slowly start to rise into the upper teens by the end of the day, and we'll hit our high temperature tonight near midnight, right around 22 degrees. Winds will start to pick up a little bit, and we could see some areas of dense fog developing as we head into your Saturday morning. So you could see some drastically reduced visibility if you have some morning traveling plans tomorrow, although I do expect that to lift by at least the early to mid-afternoon. We'll see improving conditions with decreasing fog. The rest of the day on Saturday, cloudy, couple snow flurries possible, mid-20s for a high with an overnight low near 10 Saturday night. And to end our weekend on Sunday, hey, right around 20 degrees, mostly cloudy to partly sunny, a west wind 5 to 15. And then again, we are tracking that storm Monday into Tuesday. Now, this did come back around in our last LRC cycle. This was one of the big storms that hit out west in North Dakota. When this comes back around, is it going to hit North Dakota again? Or is it going to go just south? Again, Nebraska, South Dakota, Iowa, and Minnesota. Models are suggesting that this is going to go south, and we are leaving a 30% chance for us getting clipped by the northern edge of this. Although if it does follow the LRC track, we could see that lift a little further north. So just something we're keeping a very close eye on right now. Most of our models are holding this to our south, but we'll just continue to watch it in case it does make that little unexpected nudge further north. Regardless, whoever gets hit directly by this storm will see some significant impactful snow accumulations of 6 to 12 inches of snow with localized areas up to 16. So it is something to keep very close eye on.
So do you want me to vote? Because I would like to get to North Dakota State Extension's Lake Region Roundup. That's going to be next Wednesday up in Devil's Lake. So about that storm, Justin, I'm going to need it to go south if you don't mind. That'd be awesome.
Well, you know, that would be ideal if it would just go south. But because you have traveling plans, Bridgette, I just got this feeling it's going to be like South Dakota all over again. You wanted to go down to South Dakota, and the storm was like, you ain't leaving South Dakota now. So the good news is this one looks like a quicker moving storm.
Apparently it's me. Every time I go somewhere, a storm does follow in my wake. So great. To listeners who will never invite me places again, thanks so much. But
don't worry, Dean's not allowed to go to any event around Fargo. Any event he's not allowed to be at. He's got a 10-mile radius.
Not anymore. But I will be at Devil's Lake on January 4th. That's my plan. Travel plans may change, of course. The reason to be there's several topics that NDSU Extension is going to be talking about, including Palmer amaranth and water hemp and where we're at with those two in our state. We're also going to be learning more about new herbicide resistance to kochia within the state of North Dakota to some of our pre-plant herbicide active ingredients. That'll be important. Also, some more discussion about biological pesticides. And I have that on our upcoming agenda to spend some time on here on Weather and Ag in Focus, because it's a newly emerging category that we don't focus on a lot, and now is our opportunity to share more information and learn from our experts within our extension field. There'll be discussion about livestock, soil health, and even a little bit of roundtable discussion on commercial gardening opportunities as we see those grow in the state. So if you're in the Devil's Lake region on January 4th and 5th, it goes 2 days, you have a chance to stop by and visit. That'd be great.
Oh, it sounds like a good time. Well, we're going to hit a break here, get our guest on the line. So when we come back, we're going to be speaking with a dairy farmer out of Oregon. He's an author, a keynote speaker. He makes videos on YouTube and Facebook. It's millions of views. I'm talking about Derrick Josi. He's going to be joining us from TDF Honest Farming here when we come back. And if you have a question, you want to join in on our conversation, we encourage you to give us a call, 701-293-9000, or you can always reach us via email during or after our show at weather@fargo.com. flagfamily.com or ag@flagfamily.com. Remember, we live stream every single day, Monday through Friday, on our Facebook and YouTube live accounts, Weather and Ag in Focus. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Eric was way behind on his taxes.
I owed a lot of money to the IRS, almost $15,000. I tried to make payments.
The IRS wasn't satisfied with Eric's efforts, so they came after him full force.
They're coming to put a lien and a hold on all my income, my home, my car. I was just overwhelmed at what to do.
Then Eric called Optima Tax Relief.
When Optima Tax got involved, the calls would stop, the threats would stop. It was easy like 1, 2, 3.
Optima Tax Relief is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and their team of expert tax professionals took care of Eric's problem.
I owe $15,000, and now my debt is clean. I don't owe anything.
Take Eric's advice.
If you have a tax problem, you need to call Optima Tax now.
Call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
When love is shared, great things happen. After 15 years of the Subaru Share the Love event, Subaru and the retailers have donated over $250 million to charity. Get a new Subaru now through January 3rd, and $250 will be donated to charity. You get a new all-wheel drive Subaru while helping your fellow man. Stop in today. Muscatel Subaru, just off exit 1 in Moorhead. See Subaru.com for details.
Come to life with Caldera Spas and the Hot Tub Store of North Dakota. Discover a new way to hot tub with a daily ritual of hot tub circuit therapy. Experience the comfort, design, and performance that only Caldera Spas can deliver. Welcome to wellness with a special offer of your choice of a free saltwater system or a Bluetooth entertainment system. It is a $1,300 value. Yours free. Come to life with Caldera Spas and the Hot Tub Store, located by Costco in West Fargo.
Buy, sell, trade, or look at the West Fargo Gun Show January 7th and 8th at the Red River Valley Fairgrounds. Hundreds of shotguns, rifles, handguns, knives, furs, holsters, scopes, and ammunition. Everything for hunters and shooters. Have a gun for sale? Bring it. Buyers will be there. Buy, sell, or trade at the West Fargo Gun Show January 7th and 8th at the Red River Valley Fairgrounds. That's the West Fargo Gun Show January 7th and 8th.
Bored with the same old menu, the same old fixtures? It's time to establish new traditions like we have at Traditions Restaurant and Bar. They have great breakfast items like their Frenchata Toast, Eggs Benny, and their Bloody Mary. Wow! Traditions has multiple happy hours, a new party room where you can celebrate occasions, big or small. They have darts, blackjack, pool, electronic pull tabs, and a liquor store to take the party home. Start a new tradition at Traditions Restaurant and Bar, conveniently located at 3330 Cheyenne Street South in West Fargo.
And welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus. Thanks for rejoining us this Friday afternoon. 1:20 right now. I'm meteorologist Justin Storm with Ag Director Bridgette Readel, and our guest today out of Oregon. He's a dairy farmer, an author, a keynote speaker. He's from TDF Honest Farming. We have Derrick Josi on the line with us today. And Derrick, thank you very much for taking some time out of your day to join us here on Weather and Ag in Focus. How is your day going so far today?
Oh, it's going pretty good. A lot better than last week. We had a freezing event. We had a monsoon, and then we had a windstorm, lost power. It was a week. Today's much better.
I bet you it is. Well, why don't you introduce yourself to our listeners and our viewers? Who are you? What do you do? Me and Bridgette know, but there's some people out there that might not know exactly what it is that you do.
Yeah, so I'm a dairy farmer over in Tillamook, Oregon. Probably have heard of Tillamook cheese. That would be where my milk goes. And I spend my time, for better or for worse, trying to help bridge the gap between rural and urban consumers. And I might put activists in their place and kind of dispel all their myths while I'm at it online.
Right, and you make a lot of videos that you post up on YouTube and Facebook as well on just educating people on what it is, what you do, and kind of clearing up some of those myths, don't you?
Yeah, I post every day on Facebook. YouTube, I need to get better about remembering to put the videos on there too. Yeah, it's a daily video showing what I'm doing, talking about cows, showing cute jerseys because those are the most adorable cows known to man.
They definitely are adorable.
So for me, this totally warms my dairy farmer's daughter's heart. I love talking about dairy cows. We didn't have jerseys; we were Holsteins, but we're Midwest, so that probably explains a little bit more.
Yeah.
With your operation, you just put in a great big automated carousel, if I'm not mistaken, right, Derrick?
Yeah, the last 2 years, December of 2020, I broke ground on a manure storage, and since then, I built all new facilities from the ground up, and it has been one adventure after another getting these facilities done. Between COVID lockdowns and COVID, and then supply chain issues, and I think we're lucky that we were only 6 months behind getting operational in the facilities, and they're not done yet. We're about 90% done. That last 10% seems to be probably going to take another 6 months.
So when you do this, when I say carousel, your cows come on to be milked all by themselves. They step on the carousel, the automated milking machines take over. So it's pretty much free will. Whenever a cow thinks I'm ready, she can go. That's pretty much the process, correct?
No, we have set milking times because the carousel, I still have guys putting machines on. I have a robot on the back end that does the post dip, but we aren't, no, it's set times.
Okay. And based on your set time in the morning, it's probably the middle of the night for you right now because you've likely been up a lot of hours already today.
Yeah, I was at work at 3 a.m. this morning, and it's 11:30, so I just got in at 10 for breakfast, and after this, it is nap 30, that's for sure.
I wanted to ask because you have a lot of the videos that you've made, and I've watched them. My wife watches some. We love your videos. We think they're very interesting, informative, because I don't come from any agriculture background at all, and you put it in such a great way that, like you said, bridges the gap between rural and urban, and you just do such a fantastic job at informing people on what the difference is. And I always get a kick out of it because seems like a recurring thing that always pops up, at least on the few videos that I've watched. Why are your cows so skinny? Why don't you feed them, Derrick? Do you want to explain what the difference is between your cows and maybe some of the cows people are seeing somewhere else?
Yeah, I think a lot of people, when they think of a cow or cattle, they're thinking of beef cattle. And you are absolutely right. It is a reoccurring theme, and it doesn't matter how many videos I do explaining it. Somebody new will come along and worry that my cows are not being fed properly. I like to compare dairy cattle would be like the greyhound of the dog industry, sleek, skinny, but not unhealthy at all. And then beef cattle would be like your bulldogs or something like that, where they're just husky. Dairy cattle are designed to be making milk, not muscle and fat for consumption.
Right. And your videos, they get millions. I mean, I think I've seen a few where they're in like the tens of millions of views. When did you start making these videos, and was there a moment where it just popped off and everything just started flowing and you're like, hey, this is kind of cool?
Yeah, I started in 2016, and I originally was planning on just being anonymous. That didn't work out so well. 2019 seems to be when it really started to kick off. Video, Facebook really was making a push to get video content on there, and well, I evidently can hold the phone all right and talk to it like an idiot out in the barn. So I was able to post videos, and we have pretty good cell service and Wi-Fi around here. So it's not like I'm waiting hours for a video to load. It's, as far as rural goes, we have nice internet. But between that and the pandemic, people were stuck at home looking for something to do, and evidently a dairy farmer over in Oregon is more interesting than whatever they've been watching on Facebook, so it really blew up.
Well, we're glad that they did blow up.
Absolutely. And being in Oregon, okay, so that's not the first place most people think about big dairy operations. But Tillamook has been based in Oregon for quite some time. Is there a little bit of history you can share about Tillamook and why you're in the location you are with them?
Tillamook is a farmer-owned co-op. My great-grandpa was one of the people that helped coordinate all the local creameries into one group. And that was in 1915, I believe. So Tillamook has been a co-op since 1915 and is still based. Headquarters are still here in Tillamook. So it's a small, well-known dairy brand.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you can call that small, but overall, your Tillamook is very well known, especially for the quality that it provides to those who are purchasing it. So you have a stellar reputation with your products that come out of your co-op. I'll say that much.
Thank you.
You know, Derrick, how long have you been doing dairy farming? Has this been something that you grew up in? Did you start doing this at some point? Or how far back does this run in your family?
1918 is when my great-grandfather started leasing the original 60 acres. So, yeah, you could say it runs in the blood, because before that, they were dairy farmers over in Switzerland. So I don't know how many generations on the other side of the pond.
More than one or two, I bet.
Probably. We're speaking with Derrick Josi from TDF Honest Farming. If you'd like to join in on our conversation, ask a question, maybe just tell Derrick you love his videos, give us a call, 701-293-9000, or again, you can reach us via email at weather.or ag@flagfamily.com. Now, Derrick, we got to hit bottom of the hour here really quick. When we come back, you got a book that's out. I want to know a little bit more about this book, so maybe we'll dive into that a little bit. So stay tuned. Weather and Ag in Focus. We'll be right back.
America's kids are our kids, and they're at risk. Parents are being told they should have no control over their kids' education. And states are taking over health decisions, even letting children decide their gender or to have an abortion. Now Rob Schmidt is on Newsmax all this holiday week, and he's warning about the real dangers to our kids. Rob Schmidt exposes the dangers of the woke agenda to our children and what the big media isn't telling you. Tune in tonight for Rob Schmidt and his special Kids at Risk. You'll be shocked by what you learn. Plus, watch Newsmax for Greta Van Susteren, Eric Bowling, and more for the real news you need to know. It's the hottest cable news channel on all major cable systems. Millions are switching to Newsmax for news they can trust. I watch Newsmax all the time. So this holiday week, check out Newsmax and Rob Schmidt tonight. Make the switch to Newsmax. You won't look back.
Hello, this is Elise Pucklich, and as another year winds down, all of us at Pucklich and Valley City want to thank you for your business. It's true that this time of the year, giving really is better than receiving. And during Chevy's Red Tag event, we're giving you special event savings on our largest Chevy inventory in months. So from our family to yours, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from everyone at Pucklich Chevrolet Buick GMC in Valley City. Have a safe and joyous holiday season.
Your new one-stop shop for the latest in news, weather, sports, and community happenings is WDAYRadioNow.com. Stay up to date online, on your phone, on the go. Interviews with newsmakers, all your favorite local shows on demand for those days when you don't want to miss anything. Get your forecasts so you're always in the know when it comes to the weather, and find information on our shows and personalities. If it's happening now, it's happening on WDAYRadioNow.com. That's WDAYRadioNow.com.
John, Renee, Drew, and Adam from Welton's Tire Service would like to say a sincere thank you for choosing them and putting your trust in their service. Welton's is pleased to serve customers like you who are such a blessing. Welton's Tire Service is wishing you a happy and safe new year. They are eagerly waiting to serve you once more in the coming year. Happy New Year 2023 from your friends at Welton's Tire Service on Main Street in Lisbon.
Don't ring in the new year the same old way this year. Help your family ring in 2023 with a getaway to Arrowwood Resort in Alexandria. Arrowwood's New Year's Eve package includes passes to the Big Splash Indoor Water Park and breakfast for 4. A 2-night stay is required. New Year's Eve entertainment at Arrowwood is family friendly, and there's going to be some dancing. There's always activities for kids, and you can relax at the Darling Reflection Spa. Say Happy New Year with Arrowwood Resort. Call 866-386-5263 or visit arrowwoodresort.com.
The North Dakota State College of Science Apprenticeship Program is having an open house. This event allows you to meet and greet with leaders and program specialists to learn more about how apprenticeships can help you develop and grow a highly skilled workforce. There are opportunities in numerous fields, and North Dakota State College of Science works with you to create your customized training solution. Attend the open house Thursday, January 12th from 4:30 to 6 p.m. at 1305 19th Avenue North in Fargo. The North Dakota State College of Science Apprenticeship Open House. Thursday, January 12th, 4:30 to 6 p.m. Your friends at Satram Hyam Seed would like to say, may the new year find you and your family enjoying good health, happiness, peace, and the best of everything else life has to offer. Thanking you for your business in 2022, they look forward to working with you again. See Satram for all your seed requirements and sales and service as well. Proudly serving area farmers since 1978. A name you've grown to trust. Happy New Year from Satram Hyam Seed, Page, North Dakota.
Welcome to WDAY Weather and Ag in Focus. I'm Bridgette, Readel, Ag Director, along with Justin Storm, Meteorologist. And you've come at just the right time to help us interview and listen to our guest, Derrick Josi. Derrick is an Oregon dairy farmer who's also very popular on social media, such as YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. And he's answering all our questions, sort of myth-busting dairy, but more importantly, talking about why he uses his farm as such a prime example of great things that farmers do. So, Derrick, that leads me to my question for you. First off the bat is, what's the greatest myth that people come across and ask you about dairy farming? There has to be one very common theme that they ask about.
The greatest myth is probably the cow-calf separation, and how the cows cry for days and days and the calves are miserable. That over and over again, that is the myth that I hear constantly. Or I can go on and on. We already touched on dairy cows being too skinny. The other myths are cows are bad for the environment, or cows are destroying the environment. Cows are causing global warming, climate change, you name it. Cows get blamed for everything. It's a bit ridiculous.
They can't speak for themselves. They can't speak for themselves. That's why they have you. You're going to have to share all that message. And let's go back to what you said about the cow-calf separation, and that the calves are so distraught by being taken away from their mama cow. What's your answer to those who ask that question?
Well, I do video. I take the calf away on live on video and put it in the calf pen. It's really that simple. And then I show the cow. She's over at the bunk eating. Like, oh, great. The childcare showed up. All right. I like to explain to people that, once again, dairy cattle are like the working moms, and beef cattle are the stay-at-home moms. And dairy cattle really don't have the maternal instinct that a beef cow. And a lot of beef ranchers have been very shocked to see me be able to just go in and grab a calf and walk away. And they're like, yeah, you don't do that with a beef cow.
You can with jerseys. You can with jerseys. I'll tell you from experience, Holsteins didn't. There was always that one that didn't like it, but jerseys seem pretty calm. So yeah, it's a difference.
Well, let's transition into the book you have, because Bridgette was like, "Oh yeah, I've read his book before," and I'm like, "Wait, Derrick has a book?" I was looking into it. Why don't you explain to our listeners what your book is and what it is about a little bit?
Yeah, it's called An Industry Worth Fighting For. It's about the dairy industry. I know that's shocking. It was my way of putting in long form all the myth busting I do. I break down all the myths and misconceptions in there in a very entertaining way, a lot like I do online. There's chapters on, sustainability. I think the title of that chapter is Sustainability, whatever that actually means, because depending on who you talk to about sustainability, it means a million different things. So I dive into the fact that agriculture and dairy farming is very sustainable. The fact that we reuse a lot of feedstuffs that otherwise would have to go to landfills because they're byproducts of things we're making for humans that we can't eat. So it's just it's a very educational book, but it's entertaining enough that people don't get bored.
Well, I've seen some of the reviews of it online, and it's got like 5 stars on Amazon, like 5,000 reviews, and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna have to give this book a read. So I think I'm gonna have to go and find it on Amazon when we're done with this. So
There's one.
Maybe Bridgette's generous enough to
there.
lend me her copy.
Yeah, no, you have to buy it. No, don't let him borrow it. There's one review on Amazon that always gets me chuckling. It goes something like, "My dad got me this for Christmas. I do not appreciate this. I am vegan." Something like that. And it just made me laugh so hard.
But that's the point of your book, because you are daily being blindsided, and probably not anymore because it happens daily, by vegans. And I'm going to call it militant vegans because they are. That's what they do. I've gotten into some brawls with them as well on social media, and they're trying to tell you how everything you do is wrong. And that's what your book shows, is that you don't. So do you think that anybody who has read your book from the vegan point of view has gone, maybe I have something wrong here? Maybe they've learned from it.
I don't know about the book, but I do get messages every once in a while from vegans that, or people that were leaning vegan, that were going to cut out dairy because of all the stuff they'd seen. And now they're feeling much better and more comfortable with their dietary choices. And that's what drives me the most insane, is the fear and the propaganda that pushes people away from highly nutritious options on their plate out of fear.
Right.
Hey, Reagan.
So what does what does the dairy farm or industry kind of look like right now? I mean, what has changed over the last, say, 10, 20 years? What's different? Is it going in an upward direction, a downward direction? What are your thoughts on that?
It's a mixed bag, honestly. The technology and everything's continuing to get better. It's amazing. Milk prices are halfway decent right now, but everything else is up too, so you see a lot of money coming in and a lot of money just going right back out. But I mean, it's still an industry that you can hope for the next generation to take over if they want to. Do you want to be a dairy farmer when you grow up? Maybe
Too soon to tell. So one of the big things that happened around here recently is we had so many storms. And as you mentioned, Derrick, you've had the monsoon, the ice, all of those things where power was out, et cetera, for you. And we've had roads blocked due to snowstorms. A question I have had often in the last week is, why do dairy farmers have to dump milk in a storm like that? Has that happened recently where you've had to dump some milk? I mean, I know the answers to why that is, but is it happening out west as well?
It did, actually, in the Willamette Valley and a few other places. There was a couple, I think at least a 24-hour window where the co-ops were like, you're going to have to dump milk. The roads are too risky because they had milk trucks going, obviously, into ditches and things like that. And yeah, most people probably don't understand that when milk is harvested from the cow or milked from the cow, you have basically a 24-hour window to get it to the processing plant, because milk is a perishable product. So you, if you can't get it there, you have to put it down the drain, and it's always heartbreaking. But you kind of expect
But it
that
has
kind
to
of
be
stuff
done.
sometimes in the winter.
Right.
What are you doing?
And if you're out of storage capacity, it's not like cows are standing around in the barn going, "Don't worry
Right.
about me, I'll be fine. You just let me know when you're ready." No, they
Yeah,
got to go now.
the cows have to be continued to be milked. Yep.
Right. Well, a lot of people, especially, half of our audience, because we're really big around ag around our area, but, we're focused in the largest city in North Dakota. So for our urban listeners who maybe some of them don't understand the whole process of where the milk comes from, how it gets turned to cheese, all of that, you don't just go to the store and pick up a brand new gallon of milk like, it comes from the store. What does a day in the life of a dairy farmer look like, and what's that operation like that leads up to me being able to walk into the store and grab a gallon of milk for a few bucks?
Oh, well, every dairy farmer is obviously different. For those of you that can't see what's going on, my daughter, 4-year-old daughter, has just crawled in my lap and has decided to take over this interview.
It's going great. I can tell you right now, she's doing a spectacular job over there.
She is, yes. I am at work at 3 a.m. I start feeding cows. We start milking cows. Usually in from the barn at 8:30 for breakfast. Then you do your computer work. Spend some time with the monkey here. And then your routine, and I'm really generalizing this because there's a lot more that goes into it, but are you repeating me? Yeah. And then in the afternoon, it's the same routine. So you're up at 3 a.m. and I try and be in bed by 9 p.m. every night.
Mm-hmm.
You know you're supposed to be good when I'm doing an interview, right?
So Derrick, we've got other farmers who are listening today, folks that are grain farming, beef, sheep and hog operations. What advice do you have for them to talk about what they do on a regular basis? Any suggestions you want to make sure that others are doing as well as what you do?
You mean like if they want to do what I do online?
Or at least somehow find a way to talk about what they do farming wise so that there's not so many misconceptions about it.
Well, whether that's at your local coffee shop or online or wherever you choose to do your advocating for our industries, be yourself. Have a conversation. Don't try and lecture people, because I know I don't like being lectured, and nobody else does either. So when you start lecturing people about farming, they just turn it off. They don't listen. Try and make it personal. Obviously, if they have kids and you have kids, it's a good way to bridge a gap, isn't it, Reagan? So those would be some suggestions I have.
Right, and we've been speaking with Derrick Josi today, a dairy farmer out of Oregon. He's the author of a book, An Industry Worth Fighting For, and he does a lot on social media with YouTube, mostly Facebook, on just bridging the gap between urban and agriculture and informing people on what it is that he does, how it works, and what are those myths, and are they real or are they fake? Well, most of them are not true, but it's been very fun to catch up with you, Derrick, and learn a little bit more about what it is you do and your outreach on social media. If people want to get more information, they want to maybe find your book or your videos, where can they go to, whether that's Facebook or a website, so they can get more of that information?
Yeah, absolutely. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube as TDF Honest Farming.
Even on things.
Yeah. You can find me at Derrick Josi on Twitter. My website is tdfhonestfarming.com. I'm on LinkedIn as Derrick Josi. I think that covers. Oh, and An Industry Worth Fighting For is available on Amazon.
Oh, great.
What about you, Megan?
She's just happy to be here.
She very much is. Well, thank you very much, Derrick, for taking some time out of your busy day, and you're probably trying to get to a little nap here. So, again, just thank you for taking some time to chat with us and inform our audience a little bit on what it is that you do and how it all works. So we hope you have a great rest of your afternoon and a happy New Year's.
Yeah, you too. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Say
no
bye.
problem. Well, when Weather and Ag in When Weather and Ag in Focus returns, we'll take a look at that forecast. We got a few ag topics we still need to get to, so stay tuned. We got plenty to go over when Weather and Ag in Focus returns. But first, we'll get you updated with the American Ag Network.
Soybeans, meal, and wheat finished with strength to wrap up the year on Friday. You're listening to the American Ag Network. I'm Jesse Allen with this closing market update. Well, overall, we saw a pretty positive day, a little bit off the highs, but beans and meal really strong once again to wrap up the final trading day of 2022. Beans, some of the highest levels we've seen in 6 months. Bean meal scoring new contract highs during Friday's session as well. Wheat finding some buying on the back of strong weekly export sales numbers on Friday's report as well. Corn trading just around unchanged on the day, but overall, fairly solid day in grains and oilseeds. And now we still have to wait and see, though, how this market trades and reacts as we get into a normal trading week, get out of the holiday mode as we get into next week on Tuesday. Markets closed on Monday in observance of New Year's. We saw livestock trade fade as we went through the day. Moderate pressure in cattle and hogs to wrap up the final trading day of the year on Friday. Final numbers on the day: corn for March down 1,678.5. July corn down 1,671 3/4. Soybeans March 7 3/4 higher, 15.24. July beans up 6.5, 15.33 1/4. January bean meal at 14.40 a ton, 478.50. Soybean oil January down 259 points, 63.81. March Chicago wheat up 18, 792. July up 17 3/4 at 803. March Kansas City wheat up 21.5 at 888. Spring wheat for March Minneapolis, that finished the day. That was up 24 3/4, 938 3/4. July up 18 3/4, 920 1/4. And live cattle December off the board down 367, 154.82. February live cattle down 95, 157.90. Feeder cattle January down 10, 183.70. And lean hogs February down 97, 87.70. April hogs down 40 at 95.30. That's a look at the closing markets on Friday for the American Ag Network. I'm Jesse Allen.
Each day, researchers make new discoveries that bring us closer to the moment when all cancer patients can become survivors. Some days they take small steps. Others, huge discoveries lead to giant leaps forward. This progress, both small steps and giant leaps, happens with the help of clinical trials. Clinical trials are a fundamental path to progress and the brightest torch researchers have to light their way towards better treatments. And if you've been diagnosed with cancer, they may be your brightest ray of hope. Clinical trials introduce new hope in addition to the current standard of care, by allowing researchers to provide participants access to cutting-edge and potentially life-saving treatments. So if you're interested in exploring new treatment options while helping to light the path for other patients, clinical trials may be the best choice for you. Speak with your doctor and visit standuptocancer.org/clinical trials to learn more about clinical trials. Together we can stand up for all of us.
In many countries around the world, medical care is scarce. From birth defects to serious injuries and illnesses, countless millions have no access to safe surgery. Mercy Ships is there to help. With a team of volunteer professionals, nurses, surgeons, utilizing state-of-the-art hospital ships, Mercy Ships provides free surgeries for the thousands of those who are waiting for surgery at each port.
Mercy Ships is bringing services to countries that would otherwise never be able to access those services.
We just see people that need help. You realise that they have no way of getting help, and I want them to know that they're loved.
Help make a lasting impact and turn someone's fear to joy. Find out how you can help by visiting our website at mercyships.org for more information. That's mercyships.org.
And welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus. Thanks for rejoining us. 1:52 this afternoon, 15 degrees outside of Fargo, south wind at 7. Hey, wind chill's above 0. We're at 5 degrees for a feel-like temperature. It's a heck of a lot better than the 25 below it was a few days ago. So thankfully, we got some nice temperatures in the forecast, and I'll dive into that forecast here in a few moments. But I'm meteorologist Justin Storm alongside Ag Director Bridgette Readel for WDAY Radio. And Bridgette, I think we should tackle a couple of ag topics here, or at least talk a little bit more about ag. We just got done talking with Derrick Josi, Oregon dairy farmer with TDF Farming, our Honest Farming, and he's got so much going on with his operation. And I encourage you to go check out his videos on Facebook or YouTube or his website, TDF Farming, TDF Honest Farming, excuse me. Just so educational and such an entertaining way that he does it. I don't exactly know how he does it. I wish I could do that, but because he makes it so enjoyable to watch.
I think what's most important is we have so many folks in the region who grew up where grandma, grandpa, or mom and dad milked, and that was likely a smaller operation. I mean, we still have a lot of folks who remember milking by hand. And if you go watch some of Derrick's videos and see the automation and how things have changed, and the size and scale of the operations is tremendous. And I will always challenge anyone that the most cared for animals on any farm are dairy cattle. And you will see that in Derrick's operation. He's very upfront and honest about what happens. His book is very honest. He's not hiding anything about what they do for feed, their routine. And when he mentioned just the permitting process to put in the large size carousel milking parlor took quite a bit of time, as well as manure pits and so forth, because those are no longer, you can just go out back and dig a hole with your backhoe and run a pipe to it. There's a lot of process that happens in every state that's regulated, state and federally, that you have to follow those requirements. So I think folks would find it pretty interesting to watch the process and what Derrick and his family have gone through to provide milk to Tillamook.
Right, and if you want to search for that, it's TDF Honest Farming on Facebook or YouTube, or his website as well, and his book is An Industry Worth Fighting For, which is available on Amazon. You can also go back to our show on our Facebook and YouTube page, Weather and Ag in Focus, and re-listen to that interview that we just had. Bridgette, why don't we touch on the North Dakota Farmers Union pork? There was a donation or something along those lines. What do you got for me on that?
This is very cool. The North Dakota Farmers Union paired up with Farmers Union Enterprises, and on a 5-state swath, including North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Montana, this is the 3rd year running they've donated pork. 180,000 pounds of pork, which came from Redwood Farms in Esterville, Iowa, just across the line from Minnesota, or across the Minnesota line. They brought in quite a lot of pork product, as you can tell, at 180,000 pounds. 38,000 of that went right here in the Fargo area to Great Plains Food Bank. Great Plains is the only food bank in the state. They have the largest network for food pantries and organizations to distribute to those in need. And so that's a pretty generous gift this time of the year. I think that's wonderful. And thank you to Farmers Union for doing that, again, for the 3rd year in a row.
Yeah, that's super cool. And what about there were some scholarships that were up and available through the North Dakota Stockmen's Foundation, and I believe that they picked a few people. Is that correct?
There's a lot of good things going on, and we love to share those on a Friday. So here we are with the North Dakota Stockmen's Foundation. They have 10 scholarships that they recently awarded to students pursuing higher education, anywhere from 2-year schools like North Dakota State College of Science, all the way to the 4 years such as NDSU, University of Minnesota, University of Nebraska, Lincoln, South Dakota State, which I say that laughingly only because, the whole football game coming up this weekend. But these are students who are majoring in anything from ag communications to welding technologies to pre-vet medicine, etc. And some of those students who were awarded scholarships include Savannah Bader from Lair, Shatara Burian from Manning, Chase Heim of Bismarck, and from Solon, North Dakota, Cassidy Stroman. Ashton Bame of Mandan and Lindsay Vockel of White Earth also earned some of those scholarship funds. So thank you to those folks who help sponsor those scholarships. They do so through that foundation. And I think it's a pretty big testament to the value of education in North Dakota that students can apply for those scholarships and be able to use them both in-state and out-of-state for their field of study that they want to get to. Another place that people can grasp more of that knowledge and education is Farm Bureau. North Dakota Farm Bureau is going to be hosting a convention, the Farm and Ranch Conference. It'll be held in January in Bismarck. And a couple of topics that they will be talking about at their upcoming meeting include maintaining land in a drought, of course, market outlooks, meat cutting. One that I look forward to is going to be Erica Valdez, a rancher from the U.S.-Mexican border. We'll be here to talk about that situation, what goes on in their neighborhood right around their ranch. And then also Braxton Nielsen. In 2017, Braxton went to a rodeo just like any other day, went in as a participant, but after an accident in the arena, left him with a 5% chance to ever walk again. And he'll be telling his story as well when North Dakota Farm Bureau has their Farm and Ranch Conference out in Bismarck in January. And if you're curious about details about how to attend that, you can certainly reach out to North Dakota Farm Bureau, or you can email me here, ag@flagfamily.com. I'll be happy to share any of those details with you. So as we go to this big weekend, Justin, it's the big game. South Dakota State, North Dakota State are going to play on Sunday. I'm going to be part of a Rocky Mountain Oyster Fry tomorrow. A lot of things going on. What's the weather outlook for all of us who are participating in New Year's Eve festivities?
Well, New Year's Day looks pretty nice out there. The weekend's going to be decent. The only thing really missing from the forecast, maybe with an exception for half of Saturday, just because we'll probably be dealing with some patchy dense fog in the morning, maybe lingering into the early afternoon, is just the sunny skies. I mean, the sunshine would make it all so much better, but if we have temperatures near 20 degrees, give or take a little bit over the weekend with cloudy skies, that's so much better than being cold and sunny and windy. So, you know, I think it's a good forecast. And going back to that, when is the game, this weekend or next weekend?
Oh, next weekend. I'm sorry, I was a week ahead. It's going to be January 8th. So, and this is just going to be the 1st and 2nd. So I apologize that I guess I'm so jacked up to see it. I was expecting to watch it this weekend, not next weekend.
Well, they might be able to push it forward just for you, Bridgette. All you got to do is ask. Well, right now across the area,
be easier if they held it in Minneapolis. More of us could go. So.
I think it would be a lot easier. Well, the forecast's not too bad. We're looking at temps in the teens with cloudy conditions today, maybe a stray snow flurry. Tonight, cloudy, temperatures rise through the lower 20s. Wind remains light around 5 to 15 out of the southeast, and we'll hang on to that light breeze for tomorrow. Again, some likely dense fog in the morning, at least areas of it, mainly over in Minnesota and then into the valley. That will lift by the afternoon. We'll then see temperatures in the mid-20s with cloudy skies. Again, a stray snow flurry possible on Saturday, and for Sunday, right around 20, cloudy with light west winds. We're still tracking the possibility of an impactful storm system Monday and Tuesday of next week. The good news is right now it looks like it will be affecting areas south of Fargo. I'll have another look at the forecast coming up throughout the day. As remember, always follow us on our social media platforms and our website, WDAYradionow.com, for the latest updates on the weather. That'll do it for us here on Weather and Ag in Focus. The best of Jay Thomas will be coming up next.
970 WDAY AM and 93.1 FM, Fargo-Moorhead.
Good afternoon. I'm